see a sucker soup on a hot summer day. Coffee comes back in a nerve-wracking way. The dishes and laundry take the garbage out. What a day, what a day, what a day.
Well, welcome to Capital Region today. We're celebrating our 25th anniversary this month, and now we're in our 26th year. Who knew that that would have happened? We've got a great lineup today. I'm Ed Pearl, your host, and enjoy doing this as often as we do it. Today we're doing our 1,193rd show, if you can believe that. That's a lot of numbers. We've got a great lineup today. We're going to be talking about Place for Jazz, and they're doing their concert series at the college this year. And they have some great music. They bring in great musicians, but we're going to hear all about that from them. The Schenectady Civic Players is doing a play called Bull in a China Shop. What do you think that might be about? Well, we're going to find out, I'll tell you. We've got some wonderful actors here today, along with the director. We're also going to be going over to Schoharie and going to the Historical Society, talking to them about the Old Stone Fort event that's coming up. That's their Harvest Fest. And that's certainly a great place to be in the fall, and you're going to find out how you can get there and why you should get there. And then we have the International Center for the Capital Region. So happy to have them here. They do such wonderful work working with people from other countries and hosting them and doing many things with them. And they even have, if you join them, you might get a discount book for their restaurants in the area, ethnic restaurants. And then we're going to be talking with Singles Outreach Services, and the president is here. They're having their 40th anniversary. To talk about anniversaries, I guess that's a big one, 40 years of being in the Capital Region. So we've got a great lineup coming up today, and so stay tuned for the whole show. And here we are. We're going to start right off with our first one, which is A Place for Jazz. They used to be over at the Universalist Church, but now they've got a new home, and I guess it's working out great.
It is, very much so.
Yeah.
We're at the Schenectady County Community College,
yeah,
in the auditorium there.
Yeah.
And this is our second year there, I think, is it?
Yes, second year.
Tom Coakley is the president emeritus.
Thank you.
Yes. And we have a board member with us, Susan.
This is Susan Brink.
Yes. So tell me what your series is like. I know that you've already had a couple of productions.
Yes, we started off with a Latin concert by Cimbo Cordial, who was a return visitor. Some of the performers we've had in the past have been so successful that we invite them back after a few years. Sometimes they have different bands with them, but they remember us and we remember them. So we're very happy with the way things have been going so far this year. And
then that was on, you've had them, they've already been on,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
And who else have you had on?
And then we had the BWC Big Band, which stands for Cliff Brucker, Steve Weiss, and Dylan Canterbury.
Yeah, Brucker's been getting a lot of play. I mean,
yes, he's around everywhere. Cliff has been around for a long time.
Yeah. And
it's a great band. It's 16 or 17 piece band. And when they cut loose, you can hear them outside.
That's great. So you got some really good, and he's local, but
yes.
So basically you look for the best.
We do. We try to have a local performer each year.
Yeah. And who else is coming up?
Well, do you want to tell them about number 3?
Yeah, October 6th we have Camille Thurman and the Darrell Green Quartet. And Camille Thurman has been described as a cross between Ella Fitzgerald and Dexter Gordon.
Wow.
She plays saxophone and she's a vocalist. She came in 3rd in the Sarah Vaughan competition. She's the first woman to be in the Jazz at Lincoln Center touring band. So
amazing.
She is amazing. And she's coming here October 6th with her band. Okay. It's going to be a wonderful concert. And I should say, Camille and Ken Poplowski, who'll be here November 3rd, will be doing a master class at 3 o'clock.
Oh, master class. Mm-hmm.
And that's at no charge. So if there's students who want to come and participate.
Well, what is a master class? To explain what a master class is.
Well, the musicians who we hire agree to do a class for student musicians. And
they teach music, or do they talk about, or what do they do?
They do a little of both. We're fortunate in that the community college has a great music program.
They got a great
There are
program.
a lot of students there. So we welcome them in for the master class, or sometimes it's an open rehearsal where the band will run down what it's going to play that night, and the kids can come in and listen and ask questions and so forth. So far, we've been told that these master classes are really working out well. Students are actually learning things and retaining the information. And so we're really pleased that they can do that.
Right.
Students-
You brought in, I mean, these are top.
These are
performers.
top-notch. These are people who tour all over the world, and it's a chance to get a little bit of one-on-one because there's almost always a question and answer session, and sometimes there's more private tutorials within the context of the class. So it's a chance for people, for kids to meet
A real performer.
performer who has some road years on them that can.
It's so generous of them to do that.
It is.
I mean, of their time, yeah.
Well, the Place for Jazz really, education is really a cornerstone for what we do. And we're musician-centered, we're community-centered. And it's important to us that there is that dialogue because jazz is very much an oral tradition. You can have colleges, you can have universities, but it's a one-on-one passing of knowledge, and you learn it by doing. You can read and you can listen. It's not till you get up on the bandstand and you're doing improvisation. So it's really, there's a Yiddish expression, Medor Ledor, but from one generation to the next.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too. Everything I do has a component of that. And the Place for Jazz is aware of that so that we make sure that we have the master classes, so we have these people that students would not ordinarily be in contact with, bringing that tradition alive and being a part of it, and connections are made. So that's why
And do
we do
you
it.
play an instrument?
When I was a kid, I played piano and a little bit I started on clarinet and guitar, but mostly I sing to my cat.
Who can't escape.
Yeah, exactly.
Webster
And
is
I know that
stuck.
you play as well.
Right.
So, and who else do you have coming up, baby?
Well, on October 20th, we're going to have pianist Emmett Cohen, and he's really taking the musical community by storm. He has his own show on YouTube called Emmett's Place. A lot of people are watching. A lot of people who don't even watch jazz have been watching him. I was fortunate enough to hear him this past January on the jazz cruise down in Fort Lauderdale. And at the end of the cruise, they have each pianist come out and do one song. And there's a lot of pianists on the whole cruise. They call it keyboard capers. Well, he came out, and he's a modern guy, a relatively young guy.
Yeah, I saw his picture, yeah.
Well, what he played was one of the oldest jazz piano pieces in the world from about the 1920s. And he nailed it. He was just amazing. Played the
Wow. So,
something.
and he's going to be here?
He's going to
Maybe
be
he'll
here
do it here?
with a trio. I'm going to force him to.
Oh, okay, you're going to force him. Okay, good.
Yeah, Emmett's Place started in the pandemic. There was no place to go, no place to play, and he just started inviting musicians into his apartment. And it's just grown from there.
So they
Sounds
started
like
off-
a guy that really loves his music. And then on November 3rd, you have a swing.
Ken Peplowski is one of the great clarinet players. We had him many years ago in the old place, and I saw him a couple of years ago with a band. I said, I've got to get this band up here.
Like a Harry James type thing?
It's not that big. It's
Oh, okay.
about a six-piecer, but he's
Yeah.
got himself on clarinet, and I wrote him down here so I wouldn't forget about Warren Vacher, who's a great cornetist, and Harry Allen, who plays tenor. So you got three horns in front, and you've got a great pianist named Rossano Sportiello from Italy. Heck of a pianist.
He's killer.
And Peter Washington on bass, and Aaron Kimmel is the drummer. These are all guys whom I've heard. And so it's just going to swing our way right out of the year.
Well, I love what you do, and I think it's so important. I mean, we have, Mona Golub, who does the one in the summer, we're
Concerts
bringing in
in the park.
performers from all over the world, and you're doing the same thing with jazz, and I applaud you for
Well, we appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for being here.
You're
Thanks.
entirely
And spreading
welcome.
the music.
Thanks for having us.
Spreading that music. Keep that music going. Hi, well, we're switching over here, and we're gonna talk about a bull in a china shop.
Right.
What does a bull do in a china shop? I think he breaks everything.
Passes into everything.
So, I know that Jeff is the director here.
Co-director, yeah.
Yeah, co-director with
Yeah.
Laura
With
Darling.
Laura Darling, the tour
Yeah.
de force.
So tell me, what is this play about? It's about some feisty women, I understand.
Yeah, it's about a group of women that live in a boarding house together, and across the street, a very, very handsome gentleman moves in.
Played
by me.
Well, isn't that special?
And they try to figure out how to get his attention. They come to find out he's a homicide detective, so the best way to get him to come to the house is to commit a homicide. And then...
Is this like Arsenic and Old Lace?
So it's funny you say that because the two ladies in Arsenic and Old Lace that commit the murder, that's what I thought this group of women reminded me of.
Oh, okay.
But they're actually more conniving and smarter. The
Melissa.
owner of the boarding
I keep
house
laughing.
is
And
played by
funnier.
Melissa.
We're funnier.
Right. So Melissa plays the owner of the boarding house.
Okay, so you're the owner of the boarding house.
Yes.
And you spot this handsome detective.
That's right.
And what do you think? Does
We
your heart
sure
go
do.
pity-pat or what?
Oh, yes, my heart goes pit-a-pat. It's a juxtaposition of women of a certain age, right? And it could be now, but it's probably earlier than now. And then a younger woman that comes in.
Oh, my goodness.
So it's a comparison of what the newer version of a woman is and the older version and how we feel about each other, which isn't good.
So Kathleen comes in.
Yes, she
she's in the-
does.
She lives in the boarding house, or she's an interloper?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm initially invited by Miss Hildegard to
Oh.
the boarding house as part of her scheme to additionally trap or further trap, her love
Oh,
interest.
so you're in debate.
Yes, the problem is that I decided kind of my own plans about what's going to happen
Oh.
with him. So that makes our relationship become a little more nefarious than it was at the beginning.
And so, Amy?
I play one of the ladies in the boarding house. There are 6 of us to start. And we're all very different. And we all fall in love with the detective
Must be.
in
Whoa,
different ways.
wow, wow.
And,
It's a great role.
I think so. I mean, he probably goes home and goes, whoa.
Right, feeling good.
we all
like
have
she's
our
young.
very separate personalities, and the story just we can't give it away, of course, because
No.
we can't tell you who did it because that's a detective.
Do they
Jones' job.
really, in the play, in the play, do they really get his attention that way?
You have to come and see the play.
I will be there, I know
Yeah.
that.
It is a bit of a cautionary tale about younger women who think they're all that
Well-
and demean older women thinking that they're worthless. I'm not going to say any more than that about
Well,
that.
young women these days, they're
Right.
all hussies.
Hussies.
Guilty.
It's a line from the play. Right, that's not Amy's personal opinion.
No, it might be.
It might be.
No, really.
How many are in the cast, Jeff?
11.
11, and
Yeah.
I know my floor director is in the play as well.
Yes, Janice
Hey,
Walsh.
Jan, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. They are all hussies.
That's right.
And if Janice is as formidable in this studio
She's
as
amazing,
she is
yeah.
on stage, I feel sorry for you.
I love Jan, I'll tell you, she's my rock here, so that's a good thing. So you have quite a good cast.
Yeah, we have 11 people in the cast. We've been rehearsing since the beginning of August. It's kind of a quick rehearsal schedule. We open September 22nd, runs to October 2nd. The first. And it's really, you mentioned Arsenic and Old Lace. It is that spooky type of fall feel because it does have to do with murder and all sorts of macabre type of topic. So it's really a nice time to do the show. Nice
As long
time
as
to
there's
do it.
no window seat in there, you have to
Right.
put the body in.
That's right. Well, no, we don't put a body in anything, but there is a body possibly outside of something.
Possibly more than one.
Possibly
Just
more
saying.
than one. Right.
I have to say, you guys look like you're having a good time.
Yeah. Well, we're actors.
They really hate each other and they can't stand
Yeah.
each
As soon
other,
as
but
we
look how
leave,
great
we
they
just
are as
go smoke our
actors.
cigarettes and go in different directions. No, it is a wonderful time. One of our fellow actors, Ms. Melissa Peterson, actually says, well, I can't wait to come back and play again. And that's kind of what it feels like.
Isn't that a nice thing?
Yeah, it's really nice, and it's just a very supporting cast, a very supporting crew, and as you know, Schenectady Civic is a very supporting
It's a
theater.
great organization. Yeah, come and try out for a play here.
That's right.
Because you got,
It's also really nice to have a play that's really driven by the women.
Yeah.
And not just to have such a large female base on the stage, but also it's not that easy to find shows with older women.
women of a certain age.
It's difficult, and a lot of times they're like a bit part, and this is not that. We are not a bit part in this. Everybody in the whole play, from the beginning to the end, every single person is key to the story.
That's
Very
great.
much an ensemble cast, and I think that's something that every play kind of aspires to get to, but we honestly are. And the thing that I found the most interesting about it for me is that each character, not only in the writing but in the way that my fellow castmates play them, have developed such distinct character traits and such distinct personalities, and all of that contributes to making the farce kind of pull off the way it should.
I like what you say, Kathleen. But Jeff, I'm going to ask you, do you tell them what their, do you direct them as to what their style is?
It's funny you say that. I came to the read-through ready to do that, and so did Laura. We didn't need to. Everybody came with their own unique take on the character, and we loved their take. What's interesting about the women in the cast is that you could do a spin-off show of each character. Because
Like
they have,
Vaughn.
they right, exactly. And because each character is really their own person, their own characters. It's just wonderful to see. And sometimes I'm on stage with them, and they're like, "Jeff, it's your cue," and I was just watching.
You
them.
were enjoying
I was
the
enthralled.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just a
Don't miss
wonderful
those
show.
lines.
No, I try not to.
That's all right. They'll keep you.
They keep me on my toes. That's for
I'm
sure.
sure they will.
That's for sure. I mean, there's only one other guy in the cast. His name is Dennis Skiba, who's a wonderful,
I know who he is,
wonderful
yeah.
actor.
Great guy.
And he and I play the cops in the show. And sometimes we just look around, and it's all female crew, female cast, and it's wonderful because usually that's not the case, right? So it's funny to say this, but I'm happy to be the minimal sex on this play.
Well, women have been disenfranchised from, as directors. We talked about Ida Lupino, who kind of broke the mold there, trying to get with it in the film as a director. And even today, you would think after all these years they'd be abundant, and they are abundant. They just aren't given the opportunity
Right.
to do the directing
Right.
thing.
Right.
And when you talk about the women of a certain age, we see that in film, that, there's got to be some spunky little young Kathleen out there doing their thing, rather than someone of a mature age, And yet they came out with a movie just recently with Jane Fonda and a few women, and I forgot the title. It had to do with sports or something.
Club, maybe?
No, this is 40 or 80 or
Yeah, 80 for somebody or other.
80 for Brady. Or
Yeah, that was
something.
it. I knew it was Brady. I
Yeah.
guess I think in sports. Was that about sports?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
You're asking the wrong guy.
I don't know.
It was more
We're
like
just
they all had a
discussing. I
crush
hope
on
you're
them.
enjoying this because we don't know where we're going with this conversation. But anyway, the fact is that there's a series on Netflix also, Frankie and with
sure.
Brink,
Yes.
which is amazing.
Oh,
And I think that just gives so much power to an older women, and we're looking at Jane Fonda, and you've got that power in these women that are taking charge of their lives rather than being set on the back burner, so to speak. Yeah.
Well, these women definitely take charge.
They take charge. I
It's
can't
hard to
wait
know who
see
the
it.
bull is in the china shop
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
So how did they get the title?
Well, I think initially my character, O'Finn, comes into a boarding house of ladies and is very brash.
Oh, so you're the bull.
Right. Well, yes, but as the play progresses, like Melissa says, it's hard to see who might actually be the actual bull. Yeah.
You're giving me a lot to think about.
I'm sure.
When I sit in that front
And I always
row.
see you when I'm on stage.
Yeah. There's to have a seat in the front row,
Yeah.
so we'll, yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you all for being here, and I'm so happy that you found such joy in this production that you're working in.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ann.
Yeah, good. We'll see you. I'm going to see you on the set.
Wonderful.
Break a leg.
Thank you.
Good. And here we are. We're talking with the the International Center of the Capital Region. You're brand new to the team,
Brand
huh?
new, fresh, yes.
Yes. Tell me about your job.
Oh, so, my name
You're
is.
taking over her job, right?
Yes,
Is that right, Holly? Yes.
So my name is Dre Carter. I'm the new Director of Community Engagement for the International Center of the Capital Region.
Yeah.
I'm taking over for Holly, and my responsibility will be as a liaison, courtesan, not courtesan, that's the wrong word, but
It's a good word.
It's a good word, but being able to showcase what the impact ICCR has in the Capital Region.
Yeah, you're active, and yet you seem to have a low profile. In other words, people, when they find out you're there, they go, wow, that's really something. And I think because you're always kind of working behind the scenes, working with people that are coming into the community from maybe traveling, say a tour group from I want to say part of the governmental or an NGO or something like that coming through. And how do you find out about them, and how do you coordinate that, Tracy?
Actually,
Okay.
Yeah, and you mentioned, you were joking about historic. We are in historic. We've been around since
Yeah, I know you have.
1956.
Yeah.
So we've been in the community, bringing groups. Originally, we started out as direct support for immigrants and refugees, and that role was changed about 30 years ago. And now we're into international exchanges,
Yeah.
these professional exchanges, and they come through the State Department, through the program called International Visitor Leadership Program, IVLP, as we like to call
Yeah,
it.
they usually notify that we're coming in, and we're
Yes,
coming to
yes.
Albany because it's the capital of New York, and we blah, blah, blah.
Right, and there are people that are identified by our embassies around the world, all 200 countries can be considered, that are emerging leaders in their country who can come and benefit from connecting with resources here. And it's not just a one-way, it's a great exchange, and hopefully we'll create all kinds of friendships and connections. And some of these people come back to multiple different exchange programs. It's not just a one-time, my one chance to go to America. If they like it, they'll be able to apply for other kinds of exchange programs.
Do you keep it, I'm going to use the word incorrectly, but sterile in the sense that we're going to take you here and there and that, or do you try to connect them mano a mano, you know?
Oh, person to person. Oh, absolutely. And people, we do a home hospitality. People can host a dinner for our visitors, which is great. Someone did, some volunteers did a picnic in Bethlehem Park with people from Ethiopia. That was wonderful. They had a soccer game going on the
See,
grass.
I mean, isn't that great? Isn't that
it's just that
such
kind
a
of,
great way to bring people together rather than governments together?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely, and these people represent all kinds of, the Ethiopian group were small business people. We had a guy, coffee grower, he was head of the Ethiopian Coffee Growers Association. I had the best time talking to him because I'm a huge coffee person. How they
That
were
was
trying
in
to,
Ethiopia they had coffee?
yeah, Ethiopian coffee's amazing.
Is it real?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
I
And
don't,
he gave
I
us all
always think of it-
packets
I
of
think
coffee.
Central America.
Yeah.
as being
Oh, yeah,
coffee.
no, but Ethiopia doesn't sell enough. They want to sell more coffee, but
Oh,
their
okay.
coffee is extraordinary. And so that was fun for me to sit there with the head of the Ethiopian coffee growers and talk to them about coffee. It was,
Yeah.
those kind of things that you get to have with the home hospitality and the professional resources that we have, get to meet with them. They met with the New York State Business Council, the new Albany Black Chamber of Commerce. Dre was actually able to be there. And the Martin Group, we love them because they're kind of an integral organization that works, business that helps with PR, government, business, and so they kind of add a new perspective. So we're always looking for interesting resources to connect with our groups. We had a lot of groups this summer. It was really kind of a hair-pulling experience. I was new to the role, but we got asked to do a lot of groups, and we had 7 groups in 5 weeks.
Do you have, oh my goodness, that's a
Eight
lot.
groups, sorry, 8 groups, right, 8 groups, and it was intense, from Egypt, Iraq, Pakistan.
Pakistan, Kazakhstan, almost 30 countries.
Almost 30
But
countries.
to
Yeah, we
answer
have
your
a
question,
multi-regional group.
we tailor
Amazing.
every trip that we have visitors.
I never realized there were so many that came through here. So what is your background, Tracy?
Oh, well, glad you asked. I'm originally from Utica, New York. I went to Siena College, and I guess Holly thought I was a great person for this role because I've had a desire to travel all over the world as far as I could.
So do you get to travel?
Yeah, well, at Esther College, I moved to Japan for a year.
Oh, you were in Japan.
And then since then, I've been trying to find just remote spots to find
So
and
you
learn
have
and
a
bring back.
feeling about other groups, other countries, and I think there's just not enough of that. There's so much xenophobia that it alarms me sometimes when I see that. And this may be off the cuff, but are you at all involved with the asylum seekers?
We're not actually able to take a position on that, but people
Well,
are
I didn't know whether
people
you
are
had any
supporting.
role in, is what I'm asking. You're
Supporting,
no.
no, not really. We're supporting organizations that help them, like
Okay.
RISE, but we are.
Because you mentioned early that in your early years you did migrant. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
So I just kind of wondered if did anything.
Right, I mean, our heart is there, we help, we connect people to people, again. that's
Yeah, well,
always
you're
our-
more, you
It's-
work with
it's-
State Department.
Right, it's a different mission.
Yeah, I see.
Because there are groups that are helping.
Absolutely.
And obviously, personally, people can help, and, but it's just being welcoming and open, and all that great exchange that comes from meeting people in a park and playing soccer with them, and or having a dinner. We had another volunteer, she had 30 people at her house. We had a large group, she invited
30,
all of
oh
them
my goodness.
in her backyard, and her son is a chef and at Indian Ladder Farms, and he cooked all the food for the group, and they were just, I'm still getting emails saying, we had such a great time, And that's the thing with this, is just that they don't just come here one time and, okay, never see you again. They're all like, come back and visit our country and
Talk about
connect.
a melting pot.
Yeah, exactly. It's just such it's the best part of our jobs, is meeting these groups.
You really like working,
Oh,
doing
I
what
love
you're
it.
doing,
I
yeah.
love it. So,
Yeah,
so we do other programs, exchange programs too. We do Open World, which was with Eastern Europe. To our point about helping people, we're not doing the direct support, but we like to raise the profile of immigrants and refugees. And we are hosting an event in November, the Achievement Awards.
That's
So
what I was
we're
going to ask you about, because that's really one of the reasons you're here, is to
Yes.
talk about that. So
Yes.
tell me a little bit about, because last time I think you had the names of the people and who they were. I didn't know whether you've revealed
We
that.
have just about to. It's been kind of hard to pick. There's we added 2 new
That's
categories.
a good thing,
It
it's
is.
hard to pick.
It is.
Isn't it great to have, like,
Too many to
So-
choose from.
oh, we got so many great people.
Right, we're just about to make our nominations known. But we also added 2 new categories for organizations. So that's one of the sticking points, is one's for global
citizenship.
and diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility, and belonging organizations that represent those
Okay.
goals. And we have the 2 organizations, and we have 5 categories of people: business and entrepreneurship, and civic engagement, distinguished career, and community service. That's the one that we're hung up
How
on.
do you get the names of
People nominate them, and then people on our board come up with names of people we want to honor. We also will honor, this is our second year, so our ICCR, someone who's volunteered with us. We do have honorary co-chairs. I'm very excited. It's going to be Assembly members Pat Fahey
John McDonald.
and John McDonald. So we're super excited, because they host a lot of our visitors. I email them and their staff, and I say, hey, we got a group coming in. They want to talk to so-and-so about this or that. And they
You have a
always are
lot of
just so-
coordinating to do.
It's a lot of coordinating,
and
yeah.
What do you do about language? Or is there a language barrier sometimes, or?
Not really. I
They
mean,
usually have a translator.
they have a translator.
Oh, they have a translator.
They have, a lot of the groups have to speak English, at least some kind of, basic English. But I really have found it, when you're, especially with foreign people, you have to slow down. You have to look at them, you have to make that connection. It's not just you talking to them, listening to them, be a really good, active listener.
But, embrace the opportunity to just broaden your ability to communicate
Right.
to
Yeah.
everyone around the world.
And I think most people will try to learn a little bit of the language. If they come here, they want to learn a little English, and maybe people here want to learn a little bit of their language. It's just a respect to try and communicate with people.
Absolutely.
I'm always laughing at people when they have a language barrier and they yell, like that's going to make it better. I don't know.
No, and it's listening, and it starts with looking and saying, can you pronounce your name?
Yes.
Like I have a student from Burma who's interning with me, and his name is H-T-E-D, and it's like, how do you say it? And it's not, you don't say the H, it's Tet is his name.
I know.
And it just started,
And
that
I
kind of
do
connection.
try, I
using-
think it's
yeah.
important to try and pronounce, it's a form of respect.
Absolutely.
It's just, sometimes I stumble over names terribly. And
You know I
it's
don't
like
have a problem with my name being spelled every day.
now your name is spelled
I have
differently.
unique names, yeah. People logjam, I put apostrophe in there whenever they get the chance, but I think it's built up my patience over the years.
Okay, it does build it up.
Yes.
Well, I know my middle name, Holly Planells, McKenna. Planells is a Basque name, And I dropped it when I got married because so many people butchered it, and I
I know,
decided
because
to resurrect
when I
it.
typed it, it was like, no, wait a minute, are those
Lot of
letters
Ls.
right? Did I get the
It's a
letter
lot of
right?
L's. But again, because people don't spend the time to say, how do you say that? They call it panels or planes, or, and it's like Planells, it's a Spanish, French, it's from the Pyrenees Mountains. But when you are around that world all the time, it just makes you so much more aware of that. And, you know, you start to listen and like, okay, maybe this person has a very heavy accent, but they're still speaking to you. So
Yeah.
just take the time to listen.
Take the time to
Take the listen
listen.
and get to know them, and it's really just so rewarding. So we love volunteers, we love, you know.
So
and-
if you want to volunteer,
Yeah.
if you want to volunteer a dinner, they'd probably be happy to
all kinds of
work with you.
opportunity. You can go to our website, iccralbany.org, and see what we're up to. We'll be updating the awards information as we speak.
So
Gray
they
is
have
my-
to look at your website
my
and
right
find out.
hand, yes, right-hand person with regard to marketing, website work, video work, photography. He's
We're
How long have you been in the
Christine
job?
Grace.
about a couple months actually, started in July,
Okay,
but
yeah.
I've hit the
Still
ground
getting
running.
your feet wet?
Oh, no, I'm soaked. I'm soaked.
Yeah, he's
We're
soaked.
neck high.
I think you probably have one of the best jobs.
I think so too, yeah.
Because to me, this would be so exciting because it's not routine.
Mm-hmm.
And you're meeting new people all the time.
Yep, and every time we get visitors, I look up some of their cuisine and I make something just so I have something to talk to them about. So it's
Well,
also
yeah,
delicious.
because you want to prep yourself.
Yes, yeah.
Like, you know, you get a country and say, where exactly is that? You know, and you don't want to be talking like it's here when it's really over there, you know?
Current events related to, like, people from Ethiopia, they've lost 1 million people in the wars in Ethiopia this year. I mean, just the fact that they were able to come and have.
But to acknowledge,
Absolutely.
I'm so sorry about what happened in your country. That means so much to them that you even care to check on
We're
it.
here to support you, and the fact that our government is sending people here so they can help grow their economies or help their democracies, or, you know, whatever is their need.
You try and stay out of the politics of it and just be
Yeah.
person
So we act as
person.
ambassadors for that same
Yeah,
sense.
citizen ambassadors, that's what we are, citizen
I
diplomats.
love citizen
And we have
ambassadors.
people who do public diplomacy at the high level with Secretary Luxon and others who are helping, you know,
Well,
having a
and
dinner.
one of the things that that has happened to me is, like, I've been, actually it's China, so I've been to China a few times, and I'll hear people say something about China, and I'll go, well, that's really not true. So when that person comes from another country here, and they say, well, those Americans, they go, no, wait a minute, that's not really, it's that understanding that you're fostering, I think, that creates the, well, just to dispel some of the generalities that people get.
Well, you just use a great word, fostering. That means that someone hasn't taken the time to nurture the relationship between themselves and the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So it takes some time to nurture what your how you feel and how you react and where your role is
Yeah.
in a lot of this place. But we act as the citizen ambassadors to help make sure that when our visitors come to the capital region, that they are welcome, that they will learn, and we will all culturally diffuse.
So important. What you do is so important. It really is so important. Understanding is the most important thing
And
to
having
world
fun.
peace eventually.
We do have fun. And it's also like I took this job on when World Refugee Day was happening, and I felt like our piece of it is that we were trying to help stabilize, give the leaders the skills they need, the connections, because it's people they can rely on here to say, hey, I have this problem, can you help me? And that they can come back, and hopefully it'll keep their country stable, so they won't end up in a war situation or a refugee situation. So, so we're not involved in that direct support anymore, but our heart is still there.
Yeah, your heart is
Our
there.
mission is to foster
So
all that
your
exchange.
event is in November,
Yes.
and it's
November
the
7th.
Hilton over in Clifton Park.
Yes.
Up in Clifton Park, I should say.
Yes.
So we want to encourage people to perhaps get involved as a volunteer, perhaps get involved as opening up your home. I'm sure that all you have to do is go to their website or give them a call. They're nice people. So give them
Anne is a member. She was.
Yes, I did. I
The
joined
passport.
because I
We're
thought
going to
that
be
was so-
starting a new campaign. We have a
And I
new
even went to
campaign.
one of your restaurants. So
Good. Wonderful.
Thank you
That's
so
great.
much for
Thank
being
you.
here. It's a pleasure to know what you're doing.
Thank you very much.
And now we have historical. They got me out of order here, so that's what confused me when I said historical. I looked up, no, not that. So anyway, I want to thank you for being here from the Old Stone Fort in Schoharie. Oh my goodness, and you do so much great stuff in your county.
Thank you. We're trying to pick up programming a little bit more, trying to draw in some new, different people, as well as the same people that we were pre-COVID.
Oh, Didn't it knock the heck out of everything?
Everybody.
Yeah.
All institutions are rebuilding themselves, restructuring, as Joanna said, looking for new audiences. What can we do to change? The old way is, for the most part, gone.
Well, it's interesting you say that, and I'll just speak from my point of view, is that I was doing this show every week. And now I'm dropped down to doing 2 shows a month because I lost contacts, I've lost so much, and people have said, oh, we don't do that anymore, oh, we can't find someone. It really made a difference, but you're stable. You've been with the historical site
For a while, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kept me on the little corner picture last time I was all dressed up, I'm sorry.
Okay, good. So tell me what you have coming up.
So on October 14th from 10 to 5, we've got our Schoharie County Harvest Fair, hopefully the first
It's
of
called the
many.
Harvest Festival, right?
Yes.
Okay, John.
So we're looking to have all sorts of vendors. We've got food, we'll have a beverage tent, live music. We're partnering with a couple of the quilt guilds in Schoharie, and they're a massive part of this planning. They're going to be bringing in quilts. They've made a quilt.
Those quilts are big. People are
Yes.
really into those.
Yeah, and they've made one specifically for this event that they're going to be raffling off tickets for. It's gorgeous. I will probably be buying some tickets.
I know, because some of them are so gorgeous, aren't they? That
Yeah,
They do. And so
yeah.
much work goes into them as well.
Oh yeah, a lot of love.
Now, this is going to be before Halloween, so you're going to have pumpkins.
We are.
Yes.
Yeah, we have Barber's Farm, Shaw's Farm, all the big stands that everybody knows. They're all coming. They're doing a setup. Some of them bring older trucks and just really old-fashioned harvest fair.
Oh, you know,
We're having snack races and
I'm
things like
hoping that I'm free that day. I would love to come down
Please
there.
come.
Yeah. Yeah, because I just, a drive to Schoharie is just always pleasant.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. down
Yeah, hopefully the leaves will be at their peak. I mean, it's gorgeous down there.
I want them to stay on the tree a little longer. It's just-
I get that.
I know, I went outside and I was driving and a leaf fell right on my, oh no.
Yeah.
there. It's starting to happen.
Yeah, I know, it happens every year, so.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a good.
So tell me about the Old Stone Fort. Why do they call it the Old Stone Fort?
The Old Stone Fort. It originally was a stone church, 1772, Palatine Germans.
And the Palatines, which of course you're kind of into that.
Yes, because we have the
Because you
Palatine
came in
Farm
costume
Project.
last time, didn't you?
Correct, I did, yeah.
See, I got a good memory.
You do. Yeah, we're really pushing the Palatine Farm Project. It's coming along very well. So 18th century Palatine German farm interpretation of our farm. So it's growing, and it's a process. But as far as the fort itself, the fort is made of stone, made of limestone.
Is it natural limestone from the area?
Limestone from the
Yeah.
area, yep, mine right on the creeks. And it's a beautiful structure, and in the middle of the 19th century, it was turned over to New York State just prior to the Civil War as an armory, as they built newer churches. And the reason it's called the fort is during the American Revolution, the 1780 burning raids, when the British, the Tories, and the Indians came through the valleys and burned all the
He's
settlements
with the
out.
historical, you can tell.
Yes.
Go ahead.
That was fortified. That was the lower fort. That's where it gets the name.
Did they have an actual fort, like a gate, like a
Yeah,
gated
houses,
community?
blockhouses. Yeah, they actually did. Yep,
It's
in
kind of
Liverpool.
similar to, you've got the
Ticonderoga.
Schenectady stockade.
Oh,
yeah.
So they stockaded it. It's just a smaller area.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like Ticonderoga.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
But yeah, so the name stuck.
So it's a historical building now.
Very much so. And Joanna is the assistant curator of collections, so.
Is there a
she's-
museum involved?
Yes. Yeah, we've been a museum and a historical society since the late 1800s. So, I mean, I haven't proven it yet, but I like to think we're one of the older museums in the country.
You probably are.
Yeah, I would think so. And we've got the fort on one side of the road, which we run. It's technically owned by Schoharie County, and Schoharie County has been very generous with working with us, letting us use it as kind of our main display building. And then we've got some across the street, ranging from an 18th century Dutch barn, which we really would love donations to help
Yes,
fix that one up.
donations, people come up and help.
Yeah, we've got a 19th century schoolhouse. We've got an
You got a
ancient technology
schoolhouse?
exhibit. Oh yeah, with a bell that you can go in and ring.
And that usually was a one-room schoolhouse.
Yep.
That's exactly what it is.
Because they didn't, they shoved them all in the same room. And
Yeah.
not only that, it's probably better for the kids because if you were kind of running a little, behind and then you could pick up from.
Oh, yeah. We've met so many people over the years that went to one-room
Really?
schoolhouses in rural areas up into the 1940s or so.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess if you're a small community and you got to educate, it's almost like a homeschooling one-room schoolhouse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it's popular. We have the Warner House, which has our technology exhibit. Which is
Technology meaning farm technology? Or?
No, this is actually.
Like radios, television,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
It's comparable to what you see here in Schenectady.
My side?
Yeah, absolutely.
And who curates that?
So Dan Beams is our curator and I'm the curatorial assistant. So
Okay.
it's a lot to handle between the two of us, but
So are you looking for donations? If anyone has something to donate, what would you be looking for? Because they may be cleaning out, someone's downsizing somewhere.
Yeah, the historical societies do end up being the closet, sort of the.
Well, we don't want to be, you don't want to be the
Yeah,
collector.
community. But if anybody had
Unique.
anything, right, unique or has provenance or something that we don't have in the collection already that's really important, they should bring it to Joanna or Dan's attention. So we have a committee that goes through and looks at things. I mean, obviously, space is at a premium, so.
It is
you know,
everywhere.
yeah.
And in a sense, I think museums, unless they got an abundance of space, which they usually don't, people go, well, this is an antique, and I
Right.
want you to have this.
Right, and we're so
you say,
appreciative.
yeah, and then you go, well, thank you so much, but we have 42 of these.
That's exactly what happens.
and we usually do our best. If some people bring in something that maybe has more, it relates a little bit more to, say, Schenectady County, we'll say, hey, maybe this isn't the best place for this, and we'll try and put you in touch with somebody who maybe it makes more sense for them to have that.
Okay, now, I'm giving you some little advice. You should probably accept them and then sell them on eBay.
Well, that's not quite best museum practices. We won't do that
Trouble
one.
over that. Yeah,
Just a
but-
thought.
I mean, if people want to sell it on their own and donate
Yeah,
the
and donate.
proceeds, that would be
Absolutely.
lovely.
Yeah.
We'd be very appreciative of that.
Yeah.
But we are growing our membership. We're asking for people to sign up, come in, volunteers. We're looking for people who want to come. and
Are you
help
looking for
assist.
docents, or do you?
No, we're looking for docents as well.
Okay.
Sure, we're always on, we have, most of our docents now are interns, college
Yeah.
interns. But we're always looking for volunteers to be docents and such that can be trained.
I mean, really, any job that you can think of, we would absolutely welcome people if they want to do maintenance, if they want to do the docent, if they just want to help out, say, at our Oktoberfest or specific events. It doesn't even have to be on a daily basis. But we could always use the help. We're a small
People,
organization.
in the past shows, we've been talking about, aging in place and things like that. And a lot of times, people they're kind of at loose ends. They want something to do to feel productive.
Yeah, we
And
see
this,
that.
to me, would be a perfect opportunity to do something that would make them feel productive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. As Joanne said, skills, you may not think it's a skill a museum needs. Even if it's just coming to, like she said, assist us at an event, moving things around, helping set up.
Inventorying things,
There's
yeah.
a million things to do with a very small staff. And a
Yeah,
board that's very small too.
unfortunately, that's a story you hear everywhere. That,
Yeah.
And I don't know what your experiences are, but most people that I've talked to, because I talk to a lot of nonprofits, the young people just simply aren't volunteering the way that the older people have done.
We've had discussions on that.
Have
We're
you had that
asking
too?
why, and when, and obviously we're trying to focus on them. They are the future. They're going to carry it on.
Exactly.
We get some very good ones, but yeah, the numbers aren't there, and we wonder, what is it? Is it technology that's taking up
They're
their time? Is
self-absorbed,
it-
I think, with the,
Yeah, that has a lot to do with it.
Well, and
But it can also be a
again,
bonus.
since COVID,
It is.
everybody's ramping up their events, stuff that they're doing. So people's time is at a premium.
You're right.
So, I mean, if you're volunteering at 2 other places, plus your job, plus whatever else, plus family, you just don't have time to pick up everything.
Right. So
You bring a good point.
Yeah.
really, really can go a long way.
And younger people, younger adults are busy with kids and, you know, education and getting to school and the soccer game and then the t-ball and then there's this and then there's that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you can't keep, and you gotta bake those cookies too for the next.
And that's why the majority of boards tend to be retirees.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, one more time. The Harvest Festival is coming up. It's on October the 14th.
Yes.
It's at the Old Stone Fort in Schoharie. Where is the Old Stone Fort? Is that on a highway or where is it?
So if you're on 88, you get off at the Schoharie exit, and then you come down 30. Just before you get into town, there's a little point sign, which you can see a little bit more now, because we've got a brand new
Digital.
lit up point sign, and it's got an arrow to the
To
Old
the Old
Stone
Stone.
Fort.
Okay, good.
Yep.
100 feet up the road.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to try and get down there on the 14th because I think it would be really fun
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
to see what you're doing and how you're
Just
doing.
main races and maybe a pie contest.
You never know.
Absolutely.
You never know. Yeah. Well, thank you both for being here. I'm sorry you didn't come in costume, but that's okay.
Next time we will.
Next time. We'll have to.
Yeah.
And it's a pleasure to meet you. I don't think you've been on the show before.
No, I have not.
Yeah,
I'm
so
happy to be here.
It's your maiden voyage here.
Yes.
Good. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate what you're doing, and I think Schoharie is a lovely community, and more people should know about it.
Thank you so much, Ann.
Thank you.
Congratulations
Thank
on 25.
Yeah, whoa.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, now we're talking, I'm changing my hats here, and talking to the president of Singles Outreach Services, name's Dave Freeman, and you've been president, how long have you been president, Dave?
I'm in my 4th term.
4th term. Stop. That long? Wow.
Yeah.
They must love you
See
there.
the gray hair?
Yeah, that's what happened. And you brought Bonnie with you, and
She's our programming
she's a
chair.
programmer, not programmer, but she does programming there. You've got a 40th anniversary coming up.
Yeah, we got something in common. I hear you just hit 25.
25.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I'm
Anniversaries are coming all over the place.
Yes.
So, how do you plan to celebrate this momentous occasion, and why do you want to?
I want to do it, and I want to do it for a man I never met that I have a lot of respect for, and that's our founder, Greg Millett, who on October 21st of 1983, he received a doing business as for Singles Outreach Support and changed many lives in 40 years. Singles Outreach was never a dating site, dating service. It's not your normal singles pub. It's a place of transition for people who have just became single. And Greg provided education, activities, and socialization to give them the skills to move to the next chapter in their lives. And for what he did for so many years, I have a lot of respect for him.
It's been around a while.
And I would like to have this 40th anniversary celebration in his honor. It'll be October 20th. We're going to celebrate on the 20th of October. And we're hoping to do it at the Schenectady Armory. We're still finalizing details on that. And it'll be
Good
about-
location, really good. That's
Yeah.
where the Monet exhibit is going in now.
Yes, it is. And
They
Van
had
Gogh
Van
was just
Gogh.
there. I enjoyed that exhibit.
Yeah, the
very
Van
much.
Gogh exhibit was
That was
amazing,
wonderful.
wasn't it? Yeah.
I hope we can stack up to it.
Yeah, well, I'd like to see the Monet next. That'll be next, yeah.
We have, I'm very proud to have the board I have to work with. Bonnie's one of our board of directors. We have a great board of advisors. I couldn't do it without them.
Yeah.
And I believe we have a picture of our.
Yeah, we've
original
got some
board.
pictures. What pictures do we have up there? Can you bring those up? Oh, let's see what they have here. First of all, I think it looks, okay, that's the first board of directors, right?
Right.
And in that, I think we have Greg Millett, and we have, I can't see, Larry Klepper, maybe Randy Foshnock, and Lois Hagner, I think, were the board, the first board that he put together. But the board wasn't formed that year in '83.
When
well, they started in, what, 85 when they incorporated?
In August 12th, 85, we were
Incorporated, so that was that board then.
Wow.
And what you're looking for also, I believe, I think there was a screen up there, that what you're looking for is for people who will, that one right there, that will send their stories in, is that it?
Yes, we're putting together a memory book for our 40th anniversary, and we're looking for people who have been past members and
Got married, so many marriages.
so many success stories of marriages.
Even though it's not a dating service, right?
Right, well, things happen.
Yeah, things happen.
But I'm looking for former members of Singles Outreach to send in testimonials, congratulations, or put together a memory book for the event.
Mhm. That's great, and if we get that, then you'll be, have a nice little book that you can
Yes.
keep on the shelf there.
Yes, I will.
Good. What kind of activities does Singles Outreach currently have?
We have many activities. We have sport activities, dining activities. We do discussion forums in our office. We're doing dance lessons. We have mahjong. We do concerts, special activities. We have a nice lady who does movies on Friday night.
Love those movies.
And one of my best advisors. We do picnics. We do day trips. We have a very busy calendar going in September.
You have concerts too, you said concerts,
Yes,
right?
we just had Don Hyman on Labor Day. He was a very great performer. I think you've had him on your show.
Yeah, Don's
As
been
well.
on our show. He's an amazing performer. And he's a community activist. He's everywhere. He's a reenactor. Yeah, you were lucky to get him.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. You have another local celebrity on the show too, Carla Page.
Yes, hopefully she'll be performing on our 40th with her band.
Yeah. Are you going to be on our show? I heard you were going to be on our show.
I am, but I'm not sure when yet. Waiting for her to get back to me.
Yeah, because that'll be kind of cool to talk about the 40th. So Singles Outreach has been around a long time. I understand that at one time it was
It was the
huge.
largest. At one time, we had 5,000 members. And during the course of our present, we have 44,000 plus members that have come and gone. So
Your database?
in our
Wow.
database. So when you look at that, that averages out to 1,100 people who have been, came and been helped per year.
Yeah.
And we recently were at the Kerr Festival. We had a booth there, and last night, two people I met there came to our event and became members.
So that's amazing.
So
So that you're spreading the word in the right places.
Yes, we are, and we're continually growing
Yeah.
in activities and membership.
And I know that probably people are watching and saying, is that the organization for me? What is the age group? Because they don't want to be in with people that are doing hip hop.
Well, our age group now for members range from 45 to 90.
Okay. So it's a broad group, and not only
Very
that, but
broad.
you get to meet different people in different ages and.
A very diverse group. We cover 7 counties in our membership. It's not just Albany County. We have Fulton, Montgomery. We have members from Great Barrington, Massachusetts. We're very
Yeah, in the whole area. Even if they don't come to every event, they come
right.
to quite a few of them. You have speakers? Do you ever have speakers?
Yes, we have speakers usually on twice a month on Sundays. We have our potluck every week, and after that we have a speaker. We had a great speaker recently was Malcolm, who talked about the Appalachian Trail.
Oh, that's Malcolm.
The
There,
Appalachian
there's
Angels.
Malcolm right
There he is
there.
right
Yeah,
there.
hi, Malcolm. That's
Say hi,
good.
Malcolm.
Yeah, Malcolm Kogod. He's actually my assistant producer of the show. So yeah. So he spoke on what, Adirondack? Did you say
Appalachian Trail.
Appalachian Trail. Yeah. Appalachian Trail. Yeah, I got that right. And any other speakers coming up that you might like to talk about?
Not sure. Didn't bring those two with me.
Yeah, that's okay. I understood. I thought I read somewhere in one of your things that you have the brain. They're
Yes.
healing the brain coming up, and I think the care and compassion
Yes.
at the end of life. Yeah, that's coming up. Do you ever do any chores?
We just completed 2 tours. We did a tour of Saratoga mansions with derby tours. It's very, very educational. And following on Saturday, we did the Martin Van Buren home.
Yeah.
And I was very impressed with that home. And
So there's a lot going on. Do you ever go up to Lake George or anything, or do anything like on the cruises, or?
Next Friday, we're doing a Lake George cruise.
Okay.
We're going on the
Last cruise of the season, right?
Yeah, and we're going to be going through the Isles of the Narrows.
Okay,
And that's almost a 3-hour cruise.
okay. Didn't Gilligan do that?
I think so. But we hope to come back.
You hope your group comes back again.
Yeah, I'm not driving the boat, so we got good chance of coming
Okay,
back.
that's good. And I know that Bonnie works very hard at getting some good programming too, right?
Yeah, well, last year we did a trip to Bennington and saw
Bennington, yeah.
3 of the covered bridges
Okay.
and the monument there. That was nice. This past summer we went to the Iroquois Indians.
The Iroquois, oh yeah, the Iroquois, that's in House Cave.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, that's an amazing museum anyway, yeah.
Mhm.
So you're actually looking for places that you might, and we just had the Old Stone Fort, who knows, maybe that would be a.
Well, I was also thinking of this year, maybe next year, I'm not sure how the time's going to be, visiting Grandma Moses.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
the
Oh, that's an
museum.
amazing museum. Yeah.
That's in Bennington, and they also have Will Moses
The son.
at painting,
Wasn't his son?
grandson,
Yeah, oh, the grandson, okay.
painting at her house
Okay,
where she used to live, and I thought we could stop there on our trip.
yeah, that's a great trip. So you got a pretty good program.
Yes, I do. And I'm currently researching for next summer to do presidential homes in New York State, like we did Martin Van Buren.
Okay.
There's also
The Roosevelt.
in Hyde Park, Jefferson and Monticello.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And I know there's a lot.
I always think of Jefferson being in the South, but no.
Yeah, there's a lot of presidents who had their homes in New York State, and I want to make a tour, probably bi-weekly tour of that.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, do you ever do any overnight trips or anything? Not yet?
Yeah, but I would like to do a whale watch to Foster, Maine.
Oh, yeah, whale watches.
overnight.
So much fun. Oh, I guess we're getting almost out of time, but listen, congratulations on your 40 years. And I know that I read somewhere that it was the largest singles group in the United
At
States.
one time, we were the largest with over 5,000 members, and now we're the oldest, celebrating 40 years.
You're the oldest, so, well, just keep on going. Looks like you're on a roll, Dave.
Trying, we're
Yeah.
trying.
Great. So, well, let me tell you who's coming on next time. Well, we're looking at October. October's coming up as well. And we have the Aquatic Center coming into Viaport. That Aquatic Center is going to be amazing. We have a local art gallery that we're going to be talking about. The Bunbury Players are going to be here. They always have a great production. We have civil rights activists coming on. And this happens in the 1960s, and the woman that is going to be on the show, her brother was there in Meridian, Mississippi, when the 3 men, the civil rights, the freedom riders, they call them, were murdered. So we've got some great stories to tell, and 2 women will be joining her that were children at the time and tell what they went through living in the South during that time. We also have the Downtown Schenectady Improvement Corporation coming on. They've got great events coming up. We have Jaja's kids coming on, and not the kids, but the organization, and that is a group helping street children in Uganda. So we'll be talking with them as well. And we have the Story Circle coming on. They'll be talking about their new production called Wordplay. So we have a lot going on, and I want to thank you for watching this fabulous show. Not just me, but all my guests is what I'm really talking about. We are now in our 26th year, and in September, we celebrated our 25th year. So thank you for being part of what we do. I'm Ann Pearl, your host and producer of Capital Region Today. Thank you for watching.